I'm extremely motivated within my career and work, but anything outside of that, you'll find me laying on the couch, napping, or endlessly scrolling. How can I find the energy to do things daily after work? Even just a routine to move my body seems so far-fetched because being lazy slash sleep, even just like an hour-long nap, always seems like a dream, especially after work.
Antidepressants come to mind and cocaine.
I feel like I wrote this email, so I don't know sure if I'm qualified to answer. I can't wait to nap as soon as we're done with this podcast.
Wow, really?
I mean, I might dip in the pool with you guys, but I love a nap. It seems like I have a lot going on and I'm doing a lot of things, and I do, but I'm napping a lot. I take a lot of naps, and aside from doing comedy, me being out doesn't really, it's not that much.
No,
I don't do that all that well.
I don't relate to this at all. I have the opposite problem. We all want what we can't have. It's what you have actually of like napping and like sleeping after. That's a gift. I'm constantly this feeling. I'm always like on edge. I'm a very intense person. I'm high strung. It's hard for me to calm down. So you could look at it at like a gift, like you just chill after work. Is there something you're trying to get done? Sounds like, you work hard, you're doing okay. I don't know.
Get a hobby.
Sam, any advice for this person?
I mean, I think it's very easy to make light of this person's struggles, but I think this is a common experience of people living in a first world capitalist society where there's this constant, I'm on the fucking hamster wheel feeling. And then, I mean, who knows? This person might be working 8-10 hours a day, an hour drive to and from work. I mean, that's around 12 to 14 hours of your day that's just automatically allotted to something you don't want to do. So yeah, I think that finding balance in your life is so difficult, especially when you do need the time to to recalibrate, to rejuvenate, to rest. I think that a very easy thing to do is to find either an audiobook or a podcast that you like, or your favorite playlist, and just go on a walk around your neighborhood at sundown. Whether sundown is at 6:30, 9 p.m., watching the sun go down is such a simple, beautiful thing to experience, just seeing the colors of the sky and walking around your neighborhood, seeing the soft light hit the leaves, seeing these houses you've seen 1,000 times, seeing it in a new light. It can really help to like give you some perspective on just how like beautiful common occurrences are. So I would just say go on a little walk, try and do a half hour at the neighborhood when it's nice and cool after dinner, because a bike ride a little bit stoned is a blissful, tranquil experience that I value so heavily. So yeah, just get outside and move around a little bit. You don't have to go to the fucking gym. You don't have to go to the climbing wall. Just get outside and walk around a bit, and I think that might help you.
That was like solid advice.
That was
Normally,
actually
you
legit
give no good
advice. I know.
Oh, good.
You gave real solid
I
advice.
gave
That's
earnest
impressive.
advice
That
to a
was
person
amazing.
desperate enough to ask you fools for
Yeah, I
advice.
don't know.
Well, listen, no, I'm a desperately earnest person, so I
Me
try
too.
to avoid being that way too much because it's a lot for people. But I agree with that 100%. But I think it's a hard thing for someone who always feels like they're not doing enough. And I do think that is sometimes a uniquely American thing. Maybe people feel it everywhere, but there is that constant, like, I have to do more. And I feel like comics feel it a lot. Like you see other people doing stuff and videoing stuff and you feel like you just need to always be. But yeah, I think if you can appreciate those little moments and take one step, don't think of a million things. It's one little thing, like you said. I think that's very good advice. And to try and like be present doing that one thing, I just think it's a little bit difficult. But stuff like, yeah, take a hit of weed or something.
You don't even need to be altered. Just go on a little walk at a different time of the day. When I lived in Vegas, it was the darkest time of my life because it was 110 degrees. You couldn't go outside in the daytime. You couldn't walk your dog. I had no friends. My wife was in med school. I was totally alone, effectively. She'd come home and I would have dinner ready, but then otherwise she was studying. But then I started going on walks around 11. Well, it was like 10 when the sun was going down in Vegas in the summer and it was finally not 100 degrees. And I was like, this sucks. And I walked around and I took this weird turn on the street near my house and there was a giant albino tortoise in the yard, just the biggest tortoise I've ever seen. It had in this yard, and it was eating a pumpkin. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I was a little bit stoned, of course, because I was. But I just got to stand and watch this gigantic behemoth. It looked like rock eat a whole pumpkin over the course of like an hour and a half. And that moment, the tortoise eating the pumpkin moment, really turned me on the idea of like, There is a lot of wonder in this fucking world. You just have to put yourself in a position to see it. And you're not going to see that when you're on your couch scrolling on your phone. You're just going to be reminded of like all the things you don't have and all the experiences you haven't yet lived. There's so many experiences just right out your front door. The Botanical Garden's a great place to re-fall in love with living. A butterfly exhibit. You don't have to do anything too heavy. Just get outside and look around. Eyes up, eyes off your phone.
That's the off the phone is huge. I mean, I think we all get into the doom scrolling once in a while, but I never feel good when I'm like, oh, it's been 2 hours and I've taken in nothing besides I've changed my algorithm enough where I do have a ton of cute like dog videos, and I enjoy that. But it used to be nothing but like sadness, and so I went through and liked every dog video I could to get a little fucking dopamine in my brain. Yeah. But getting off of that phone is so goddamn important. And even just doing little things, like even if you only go outside for 5 minutes, it doesn't even have to be a long walk. If you do that every day, then it becomes 7 minutes, and then it can become 10. It's not like you have to be like, oh, well, I'm going to spend an hour and a half out today, because that sounds like a lot to start. I think little steps, doing something a little different every day.
Yeah.
And plan it. I like when I'm down and I can't do much. I do like to plan for something. Like I got a trip coming, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let me research tickets. Let me do that kind of stuff. As long as I'm planning for something, I feel a little less bad about sitting on my couch.
This person seems to have no plans, though. You just bragged. You just threw fucking dirt on a grave that this person's dug.
Plan something.
Yes. Plan. Write the note. Get the stool. Make sure the rope is strong enough.
But I think
at least you're moving towards something at that point.